Hi, everyone. Welcome to the second week of class here for the summer. For this lecture video, basically this is going to become the norm. So at the beginning of every week, I'm going to do a short lecture video that kind of goes over what the assignments are, the readings, just to, make sure that everybody kind of understands what it is they need to be doing. This week is really important because this is the week that you're going to do your class presentations. So a part of the grade for this new resource for college life and strategies is that you have to do an oral presentation, just like you would if you were going to sit in a face-to-face class and if they expected you to do some kind of presentation in front of the class. It's essentially the same concept, except obviously we're doing it online. So I'm going to kind of go over this. I want to try to keep this video as short as possible just so it doesn't overwhelm anyone. All of the assignment itself has very clear instructions as far as when you're going through. So just like any other week, make sure you're kind of starting up here at the top and just working your way down. Of course, this video that I'm making right now, you would have found here before the actual start of any of the readings. So class presentations, when you first click on this, it's going to just go over some basics about, doing a class presentation, especially this is good for people that maybe in general have not had to do too many of these and maybe you are nervous about presenting in front of the class. And it's going to be a little bit more odd for this class because you're doing it in an online forum, so it's going to be a little bit different. So basically just do this short reading and you're actually going to be able to click on this picture and it's going to be a short PowerPoint presentation that gives some good pointers of things you need to think about when you're doing your class presentation for this class or any other class. So that you just click on this picture and it should open up that PowerPoint for you. So make sure you read through that before you get started with, doing your actual class presentation. And then going back, waiting for it to load. Here, when you click on activity, which is the introductions, you're going to see this is a very detailed breakdown of what exactly it is you're going to be doing for the class presentation. So read through this. The associated activity is from week 1 where it says one step closer, and it kind of gives a little bit of a ditty where the people that were in the road trip video were introducing themselves, giving their names, ages, some of their background information, etc. And that's kind of what you're going to start out doing with your group. So if you notice, I just kind of bullet pointed everything or numbered it, basically saying that all groups, you're going to be in a group of 3 to 6 students. So depending on the semester and how many students are enrolled in the class, the groups may be bigger or smaller. It just kind of depends. And you're going to see discussion folders that have group numbers on it. And that's where you're going to go and find which group that you've been placed in. I basically randomly assigned everybody into a group. And I based this off of whoever was active by Sunday of week 1. Whoever I saw that had actively participated, turned in assignments, and they're active in the class. There may be 1 or 2 stray students of the ones that haven't been active as of yet, as of Sunday morning, that may end up getting placed in a group. But by tomorrow on Monday, which is the very beginning of week 2, that is when I have to do the automatic withdrawals. So anybody that wasn't active in the class, they're going to get automatically dropped. So it's highly likely that you're just going to have the 6 group members that I originally assigned to your group. So you only have week 2, 1 week to finish this project. So it's not a very long project. It's not a particularly hard project, but you do have to get started right away at the beginning of week 2. You need to start getting your discussions going in your group discussion forum, and you need to start working on very quickly figuring out a time at the end of the week that everyone can get together to do a video conference call so you can actually record your oral presentation with your group. So you guys will basically have to conference call each other, and you're going to have to pick a conference calling software that all of you can use. That's something else you're going to have to figure out throughout the week. And it has to be a video conferencing software that can record your presentation, because that is what you're going to submit is the link for the recording that you do when you do your oral presentation with your group in a conference call kind of situation. And it has to be a video conference call. Let me be specific. So this is a new requirement for this class. There has to be 5% of your grade has to be an oral presentation. So this is required. This is not something that just because we're in an online class, I could really bypass. So I had to have at least one project where everybody is actually doing an oral presentation, and we're actually going to get to see your faces, and we're actually going to get to see you interact with some of your fellow classmates in this project. So basically, if you just kind of go down the line, make sure that you read all of these instructions thoroughly so you really understand what it is that you're going to be doing. Right here on number 2 is basically telling you what it is that you're going to be telling everyone when you are introducing one of the other students in your group. So if you're looking at number 2 here, it's basically going to kind of give you a lot of good pointers of things that you should be asking each other and starting your discussions in your discussion forum for your group. And then basically what your goal is that you're going to choose one of the other students in your group to introduce to the rest of the class. So that's what you're presenting. So first of all, you guys all need to start in your discussion forum, basically saying all of this information here that's in number 2 about yourself. And then you guys can kind of start discussing with each other. You can reply to each other's discussions, start getting things worked out as far as getting to know each other, but also kind of figuring out what day of the week you might be able to meet up and do your video conference call with each other. And then basically what you are doing is when you choose which other student in your group that you're going to introduce to the class, you need to take all of that information that they posted in the discussion forum about themselves and any other information that you might have, basically taken down about that student. And your job is to introduce that student to the class based off of basically how you took in the information that they gave you about themselves. You're going to introduce them to everybody. So you can be kind of creative with this. If you guys come up with any kind of cool ideas that you want to try to do something, different where you're still meeting the requirements of what's being asked for you to do in the assignment, but you can, have some creativity if you come up with any cool ideas that you want to do something. And then basically, once you get past this step where you decide who you're going to introduce, you've given each other all of your information about each other, getting to know each other. Basically, the next step is you have to decide what kind of video conferencing software is going to work for the whole group. Things like Zoom and Skype. I'm not sure about Microsoft Teams, but Zoom, Skype, they all have apps that can go on any Android phone, an iPhone. So if somebody doesn't necessarily have a computer at home, you can still do the video conference with your phone if you have like an Android or an iPhone. Otherwise, you might have to work out, if you don't have the ability to do that, you may have to work out seeing if you can go to one of the computer labs on campus to be able to kind of do that video conferencing part. Or if there's somebody that a family member that has a laptop or something that you can use that you can get the assignment done, you've got to get that figured out really quickly because this is a component of the class that we all have to do. It's just the way it's going to be for this class from now on. But there may be some other video conferencing software that may work for you. And if there's something else that does allow you to record the video conference call and everybody else wants to use that because it works better with whatever kind of system they have, that is fine. The only thing that you need to basically know is that if for some reason, when you submit the link for your recording, after you guys have finished doing your introductions and you actually complete your project and you get the link for the recording of your video conference, if you post that link for your assignment, that's great. That's, not an issue. But if for some reason I cannot open your link on my Chromebook because for whatever reason, maybe it's not compatible with my system, what I may have to ask you to do is to basically upload your video conference call link onto YouTube and then submit to me a YouTube link because I can open a YouTube link. So, just be aware that if for some reason I can't open the link for whatever program you use for your video conference call, I may have to get in touch with you guys and say, okay, you need to put it on YouTube and then give me the link that way so I can actually open it and view it. Because if I'm having issues opening it, it may be highly likely that some other students in the class might not be able to open the link as well. So just be aware of that. Go ahead and put your link as it is after you finish your recording. But if for some reason I can't open it, I'll just be getting in touch with people to let you know that I can't open it and we need to figure out another way for you to submit it. So that being said, I also put here on number 5 that you may, when you decide whatever day, time that you guys are going to get together and do your actual video conference call, you may want to try to do a rough draft, basically run through your presentation once or twice just to kind of throw it out there, see how it looks. And if you guys think, okay, that looks good, or maybe we need to tweak something, you have the opportunity to re-record it again. And basically, to where you get it right, where you feel like you did a good presentation, and that's what you want to submit. So make enough time scheduled when you decide on a day and time that you're all going to get together and do this. Just schedule yourselves enough time that if you want to do a rough draft, basically where you want to kind of record it real quick and see how you do before you do your final recording, you give yourself enough time for that. I put some words of advice here as far as logging in early during week 2, making sure that you're getting started with your group, discussing basically the topic up here on number 2, that is what it is that you're going to be introducing about someone else in your group. Just making sure that early on you're making sure that whatever video conference software you might be using, that you guys can all access it, that you're all able to use it, that it works. So that way, you're kind of working out some of the kinks early on. And I put on here too, you may want to, in your group, share your Rater email with each other in your discussion forum, if you're comfortable with it, just so that way if someone for some reason is not necessarily, maybe they're not being super active in the discussion forum and you want to try to get a hold of them outside of class just to say, hey, we're really getting into things and we need you to participate with it, you have another way to get a hold of somebody in the group. But that is up to you all if you want to do that. And then right here, I just put examples of how points may be deducted from your project. So basically, you need to try to make the goal of speaking for at least 2 minutes on the person that you're introducing in your group. So you need to make that your goal. So if you just do a really quick introduction and you barely talk at all, you're going to get points taken off of your project for doing that. So that's your goal, is to try to speak for at least 2 minutes each person on the one that you're introducing in your group. If group members aren't taking this presentation seriously, if you're being really goofy in the video and you're just not really taking it serious, that's going to be points deducted there. You want to try to make this as academically professional as possible, even though it is an odd format to have to do it over a video conference. You still want to treat it like you're doing a presentation in front of the class and you're trying to look professional. So make sure that you are, trying to do your best at introductions. You might want to wear an outfit that, even though you might only see the top of your head or maybe just, your shirt, you still want to try to make yourself look presentable because you're presenting. It's supposed to be academically professional, regardless of the fact that you're doing it online. And I do put on here that if you have a group member that does not check in, or maybe they check in, but then they never participate after that, they don't get in on the conference call, anything like that, there is the opportunity that the group may still get a good grade. But if there's an individual that was assigned to the group that does not do any work, they will not get a grade. They will get a 0. So be aware of that. If you check in at the very end of the week because you didn't check in at the beginning, and you check in with your group, on Saturday when it's due by Sunday, and you're like, hey, I'm here, I'm going to participate, what do you have left to do? It's highly likely you're already probably done with the presentation by that point, and they're not going to earn points for it because, I'm sending out emails, I'm putting things out there that you need to check in early during week 2 and make sure that you're getting going with your project and that you're starting to talk to each other. So if somebody checks in really, really late or just never checks in at all, they're not going to get a grade for it. But the group will still be able to earn a good grade. It's just that those individuals, for not participating, will not. And then I just obviously put on there, which I did not move this, but it's basically if you complete your presentation but you turn it in late, you're just going to overall get an automatic late grade deduction on that if for some reason it gets turned in late. So just remember basically to follow the directions here. Make sure you understand what's going on. Email me if you have any questions, and then just get going right away with your discussions. Get going right away with figuring out what kind of video conference call software you want to use, and just make sure that it's one that you can record it. And it may very well be that one person in the group has the ability to record, because I know for a fact that Zoom with my Chromebook, if I use the Zoom app on my Chromebook, for whatever reason, it does not allow me to record my Zoom meeting. It lets me have a Zoom meeting, but it doesn't let me record it. So you just need to make sure that at least one person in the group is able to record the video conference that everyone is having. So that way they can submit the link after you've completed it. So that way other people will be able to view the link and be able to see your class presentation. Because in week 3, you're actually going to do a follow-up assignment that's going to be over your group projects where other groups are going to click on your links and they're going to view your oral presentation. And then you're basically going to do some constructive criticism, feedback, and activity like that after you've watched one of the other groups do their presentation. So that's how everybody's going to interact with each other, because yes, you're doing it online, but in week 3, other groups are going to come in and actually view your presentation and do kind of a feedback critique exercise on it. So try to be as professional as possible, because other people are going to be viewing it and they're going to be giving you feedback on it. So that is this project. It shouldn't be too terribly difficult as long as everybody is basically starting out early, working out the details of how you want to do it, because it's up to your group, what software you want to use, what day you want to choose to try to get together and do this. Like I said, it's not a particularly hard project. And then you do have a section on student professionalism. And this is just a couple of activities that you have to do for week 2 that's outside of the group project. So you have a little discussion and reflection off of the student professionalism. There is a bit to read on the basics of higher education and then higher education in the US. And I'm going to click on this just to make sure everybody understands this kind of quick project that you're going to have to do over calculating GPA. You do want to click on this higher education in the US. You want to go ahead and click on this PowerPoint and go through it. It's only about 13 slides. It's not terribly long. But then when you have to do the assignment that comes after this reading on the PowerPoint, let me get back to that. Oh, I went too far. Okay. So it's practice calculating GPA. So when you click on this, it's going to be a text entry only. You don't have to do it as a Microsoft Word. Make sure you read the directions. I posted a picture so you know that you're on the right link in order to do this assignment. So make sure you are reading the directions. And then here I put more details of what it is that you are going to be entering into this website link that you click on in order to calculate a GPA. So this part right here is the main assignment. You're going to be going to the link that is on, I think I put it up here, it's on slide 11 or 12. There's going to be a link for a GPA calculator that you have to click on to do this assignment. And then this is the information that you need to input into this link when you get to that web page. You're going to have to input this information, and you have to get the correct answer of what the GPA is going to calculate out to when you input the right information. So in the text entry box that opens up for this assignment, that's what you're going to be putting, is indicating what the overall GPA is going to be for this semester if you took these classes and these are the grades that you earned. So you're going to be giving me the answer of what the correct GPA is. If you want to do the bonus points opportunity right here, you are going to then follow the directions in addition to what you do right here. You're going to follow these directions, and then you should get a second answer for an overall GPA. So make sure you just read through that thoroughly. And if you have questions, you can email me, but it's pretty straightforward. It just looks like a lot, but it's not that bad. So you can get bonus points for it. So basically, if somebody answers this one, they're going to get the points for the assignment. If you also, in addition, answer this one correctly, then you're going to earn an additional 5 bonus points, which are just going to get tacked right onto this assignment. You're just going to get extra points for it. So, and I put that right here. The correct answer for semester 1, if you input this first information, you'll earn your 10 points for the assignment. If you get the correct answer for the overall GPA after semester 2, then you'll get 5 bonus points. You have to get the correct answer. So you need to make sure that you're paying attention to what you're inputting on that website to make sure that you're actually getting the correct answer. So you can't just type in numbers willy-nilly, otherwise you're going to get the wrong number. So that is the practice calculating a GPA, and it is based off of that higher education in the US PowerPoint. And it's specifically slide 11 and 12 that you're going to find the information that you need for this activity. So that is it in a nutshell for week 2. I know it seems like a lot. It's going to seem overwhelming to have to do this presentation, but it really isn't that bad. It's not a hard presentation to do. The hardest part about doing online group projects is making sure everyone's participating and that everybody understands whatever group rules that you establish from the beginning. Like, maybe you guys are all going to try to check in every single evening after a certain time. So that way you're making sure you're up to date on anything that anyone's posted. Just keep all of your keep all of your interactions in your group discussion forum so I can monitor it, because that is basically how I'm going to be making sure that people are actually active in the project so they earn points for it. So make sure you're keeping all of your interactions there. But if you do have to try to get a hold of someone by email just to get them to check the discussion forum and start discussing things, that's fine. But just make sure you're keeping the bulk of your discussions and everything here in your group folder, so that way I can monitor it and make sure people are actually being active and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. It looks like my computer screen is about, or my computer is about to die, so I'm going to end there. I'm sorry, I do kind of drag on sometimes, but I try to be thorough because I want to make sure people understand, what they're doing for the week. So I try to keep it short when I can. Sometimes it doesn't always work out. Okay, so if you have any questions, just email me throughout the week. I do expect that this is going to probably be the one project in this class that's going to cause some headaches for people, but just try to remain calm. And if you have questions, or if something's not working, or a student isn't checking in, just send me an email and we'll try to get it worked out. Because I'm going to be pretty available next week just to make sure if anybody needs help with this. All right, so that should be it for now. And I will see you all next week with another short video for what we have to do in week 3. And yep, that is it. All right, y'all have a good week. Try to do well on this project. Hopefully we don't have too many hiccups.